G'day everybody, Jason here. Matt's playing around with his 70s model transit camper. Here we are in suburbia, dogs are barking. Today, got a few important tools. Sunshine, beer, gloves. I was in a jacket there not long ago. Oh, good old Aussie wheelie bin, mate, for your stubby holder. Couple of blue drums. Sitting a bit of shit on. Alright, so jacked her up. I'm taking extractors off. So last night I went around with WD-40 and gave all the hex key bolts a bit of a spray in there. This morning I went around and loosened them all off. I did go and buy one of these hex key set. It's an 8mm that you need. But that was $29 from Autobarn. I was thinking out to Autobarn because that was a good deal, and they had a good deal on Penrite oil today too. He stops revving up his car. So I've cracked all the bolts and extractors loose before I jacked it up. This is our start point. Shockies and stuff in there. Like I said, I've never done new tie rod ends, I don't think, but a lot of the other stuff's been done. But the idea is paint the calipers, new upper and lower ball joints, and control arm Superpro bushes to go in as well, upper shock mounts, sway bar bushes, the whole lot, and repaint the middle of these discs as well. They're actually just a cheap eBay disc. I think it was like a pair for 120 or something with pads. They must be, I don't know, 8-9 years old. So yeah, the cheap ones do sometimes go alright. I've never had an issue with them, no steer and shake or anything like that. Generally, if you've got steer and shake, there's something else causing it, maybe besides your disc. So you check your tie rod ends and your ball joints and stuff, because it's not always discs. Everyone thinks straight away it's discs, but not necessarily. So I've got this little trolley here. Just chucked an esky on it because I'm working outside. My shed's too full to fit it in there. So what I'll do is I'll put on there what I think I'm going to use. The caliper paint, some subframe paint stuff, because I painted all the back half of the subframe when I've done the back end. So I'll do the whole underbody this time. Yeah, so as I sneak in and out of the shed, because I've got a lot of loose spanners and stuff, each time I bring them out here and use them, because I'm not going to do it all in one day. So I've got a case of the CBF. It's Saturday today, so we'll just do a little bit. Yeah, I'll just pile her all in there, and at the end of the day when I want to pack up, just chuck her all in the esky, mate, and wheel her back inside, ready to go for another day. So I've gone around with good old WD-40, great product, Aussie product too. So I've just gone around all the bolts that I expect to be undone. I've gave them a little touch up, maybe a few that are not, just lubricate the place a little bit, and so I might pull these out now. Won't take that long, and I'm going to get underneath and put some WD-40 on the cat back bolts, and that'll be about it. So we'll give that a quick crack and see how we go. So I pretty much just wheel the trolley up next to me, socket set, screwdriver set, hammer, some spanners in there that I'm expecting to use. I'll take off the caliper first. So your caliper bolt for your brake fluid line is a 13mm. You've just got a bottle. Once you undo your fluid line, drop it down into a bottle. Don't save that, chuck it away. It's old shit. Keep in mind that there will be a little copper washer that goes beneath your fitting, and a copper washer that goes on top of your fitting when you put it back together. And there's no need to over tighten these. You get them seated, and after you're done bleeding your brakes, etc., just bloody give them a double check, make sure they're not leaking. If they are, nip them up a little bit, but don't over tighten them, because you don't want to strip the inside of there. So just remove the caliper. 2 bolts on the back of the caliper. There are 15mm. Don't try and use open-ended spanners, shifters. Only use sockets or ring spanners. If I'm doing real tight bolts, that's off. I'll just rip off the disc, and I had to use a breaker bar on one of them bolts. The other one came undone with the ratchet alright, but one was a bit tight, so I had to use the breaker bar on it. While I've done that, the bit of hammering on the bolt on the back of it to try and jar it loose, one of them. A bit of shit sprayed out of the caliper there, up onto the underbody, so I'll get that washed off there in a few secs. So it's a floating disc setup, pretty simple. So there's the 2 holes where your caliper came from. Right, keep on going. So just loosened off tie rod end. I'm going to knock it down with a hammer. But you don't take your bolt all the way off. If you're ever hitting, you try and get the top nice and even on your nut, on your bolt to the top of it, and then you hammer your bolts out. You don't take your nuts all the way off. It's easier to damage your nut a little bit, because when you wind it back on, it'll push itself back out, or you can get a new nut. So I'm throwing these tie rod ends away, but that's just an example. Always leave your nut on, line him up even with the top, flush with the top of your bolt, and get the hammer and give him a smack or two, and should come out. Should come out. I don't know if I'll be able to do it while I'm holding the camera at the same time. Not looking like it, so I'll have to pause and give her a bit harder hit. 3 good smacks later, and that's the result we're looking for. Nice tie rod end. You want to come back here so I can see him. Generally with everything I do, I put the nuts, put them back where you got them from, instead of chucking them all in a bucket or something. If you can put them back, because it's a lot better, makes it a lot quicker to put things back together. So next I'm going to disconnect the ABS sensor. So I'm just going to undo these 2 bolts and pull him out of the back of there. So change of plan, just disconnected it from over there instead. It's a little push button clip, if you can see that, because the missus has gone to town and my little socket set's in the car, so I can't get them bolts undone for the minute, which doesn't matter because this whole piece comes off together anyway.
And this is all broken here.
So I've just wrapped all that up around there out of the way. Upper ball joint is at 18, got to take that bolt all the way out to drop it, because there's a little cutout in the side of your front of your ball joint. Lower ball joint is 21, and I use a breaker bar and a jack handle to get that one started, and then use the rattle to undo it the rest of the way. So I'll just pull them in half now. So the top one I just tapped up with the hammer just here, a couple of taps that lifted. Bottom one, same rule applies, leave your nut even with your top of your thread of your bolt. Use the big ball hammer, give them a few whacks. Sometimes there is a problem with your tie rod ends or your ball joints spinning in their sockets, which can be a real pain in the ass. So generally I've solved that by using jacks from underneath on different angles. That's pretty much always got me through. If that doesn't work, you can heat up around the edge of here, but you need to heat it fast. You want that to expand, so just get a section cherry red and knock your bolt out. Or even better, if you can have someone holding a little oxy on here, you can buy them little oxys, just a cheap one, and have someone bashing on the bolt at the same time. You don't want to expand the bolt inside, because otherwise you just end up just as tight. But if you can heat the collar a bit quicker while tapping down on there, that'll get him out. If you're spinning in one spot, try jacking pressure up, a bit of heat, see if you can get him undone that way. Or even, yeah, you just got to keep mucking around, applying pressure from different angles. Generally, I've always got them out. I've never been stuck with one yet. So this is where we're up to. Ran out of vitamin B, so having a quick break. So we've got the little sway bar one there. Bit of a bonus for those if they spin in their ball joint. You can chuck something on the end of them there to hold them while you undo them. Not that that was needed here. Rattle gun seems to rip them out pretty well. That one back on there. I did say that. It was a 13, I think. What was it? No, it was a 14. Yep, so he was a 14. Your shockies. I've seen different size bolts in these before though, so this side's 22, that side's 24. So once you hold it still with a socket on one end and spanner on the other, they usually come undone alright. Get the odd tough one. So we'll work on the top of the strap on the upper control arm. So I'll just show you this before. I talked about this in the other video. The movement on these, like, that's feels springy. If you let it go, it springs back into place. So that's with your stock bushers, stiff, springy in one place, as you can see. You can lift it up. There's quite a bit of force to push it up, and then it stays in its spot. So there's nothing smooth about that. Fair enough, it's tight. There's nothing actually wrong with those. I just wanted to do all these. I've got the parts, so I might as well do them. So yeah, I'll show you once we put the Superpro in the difference. I'll just go up and down smooth as. So for these upper ones, you've got 16 and 17. Use the ring spanner in for cracking them. If you get one that's too tight, you chuck a bar on there, or do the old ring spanner extension trick where you link your spanners together with the ring end over your open end. It's push down on like so. Gives you a bit extra leverage. And there's your upper control arm out. Might break this into 2 videos. Phone's been trying to ring. I'm not sure if I can get off this screen and take a phone call while I'm filming. I'm not sure if I can edit 2 different clips together. I'll figure that out, but top's out. Now just got to drop the strut from the top. Take the lower one out. I'll do that in the next video with approximate time to do this is 1 stubby, a couple of swallows on a wild turkey, and I better go and take this call, clean that brake fluid off there, and see you in the next video.